Welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 7. Unlike the last episode where I discussed 7 episodes, this one went back to a normal 4. This was discussing episodes 25 to 28. 25 concludes that two-parter that happened in the previous episode. Yes, so Kai, of course, the second camera gets captured, and he's about to be sawn in half with a saw, and then of course Taki comes in disguised as a shocker and frees him. Like, wow, we have somebody saving the Kamen Rider. That's been different. He gets out, and eventually they do have a fight later on. And of course, they also have the girls trying to participate in the action too, and like, no, you can't participate because your girls have to stay home to be homemakers. That's 1970s sexism for you. Yep. And eventually, of course, Monster defeated at the very end. And by the way, 25 is the last time we actually have a monster operating by himself. It's basically shockers that are random monsters. Starting episode 26, we have sort of a brand new idea for the series. A general. Someone's having to basically represent the leader. Someone will be physical presence. This one we have Colonelzou making his debut in episode 26. Well, first we see Hell Tunneler. By the way, one of 2 monsters whose ability is to dig tunnels. Yeah, of course, being the Mole Monster in episode 28. So he's like, he basically is all about creating massive pits. Yes, pits. Why is he creating pits? Because he's kidnapping guys for reasons. Yep. So we have Colonelzou coming in, who is dressed like a Nazi. I am not kidding about that. He's literally wearing a World War II German uniform. Why in the world dress this way for? No idea. And in case you're curious though, is he a Japanese actor who's basically speaking with a German accent? No, and by the way, he actually previously operated in the Middle East. Yes, a guy wearing a German uniform operating in the Middle East. The reason why he was brought in because of all the failures of the previous monsters. So he also is like very strict. He also has his own style of his own basis of operations. We're all about bugs, and in case you're curious though, is there anything mysterious about him? Is he a cyborg? Yes, he is. I think that all Shocker's men are basically all cyborgs. But as for what his true motives are, he just basically serves Shocker. That's really the purpose of him. Now, in case you're curious though, what exactly is the plot of episode 28? 27, excuse me. 28. Let's see if I can find the page here. Oh, it's all about creating pits. Oh, and by the way, one of the most interesting ideas of the episode of Colonelzou, we show off his master disguise ability. He just alters his face to look like Taki. Now, this is something quite strange on him. His skin is very heavily tanned. Probably because he was hanging out in the Middle East a long period of time. So, he has disguise, but it looks like he put on shaving cream. And he alters his face, looks like Taki. Of course, just his hair. Also changes his voice, too. And not a mask. It's simply him altering his face with some makeup. Yep. And he's able to fool the police thinking that he attacked them. And then later on, Taki is arrested for assaulting police officers. And then later on, it's revealed he's able to get out thanks to being an FBI agent. Yeah, spring him out, no problem. Yeah, probably also have to explain via the FBI, tell him, hey, he didn't attack you. He was with basically somebody else at that point. He has 2 witnesses verifying. What should people say? You can't blame 2 places at once. So they got thrown out. So basically, now the first time you can say the Kamen Rider met Colonelzou was when he disguised as Taki. And that was the first time he met him, basically near his apartment. I think it was his apartment anyways. So, and of course they would deal with the monster at the very end. It's a very interesting style episode. New villain, and he's a regular villain. But he's only going to be here for, after this episode, 13 more episodes before he's dealt with. Yeah, it takes a while to deal with him. The very next episode involves a monster known as Manichaeus, which they teased at the end of the last episode, and his whole thing is like, kidnap and become members of Shocker. The Junior Shocker program, mind you. So, it'll have Marcus, he resurrected 2 dead cyborgs. Yes. Which cyborgs, Mass? Saracen, who was last seen back in episode 13 of the series. Yeah, and this actually was his last appearance in the main series, aside appearing in the Kamen vs. Shocker movie. And also, now here's the thing, Saracen, now here's the thing, the second Kamen Rider had never fought before, though for some reason he thinks he fought him, despite the fact it was the original Kamen Rider to fight him, not this guy. And of course you have Gabba Connor. Yep. And I believe he's also another character who, of course, the original Kamen Rider never fought before. Nope. The original Kamen Rider, actually, the second Kamen Rider never fought this guy before. And yet somehow, now I get how I get Taki knowing who he is, but in the case of the current Kamen Rider, it's not really known exactly how the heck he basically recognized it. It's kind of weird. How they're brought in is basically quite interesting. Marcus, like, I have a couple friends basically here, basically have a grudge against you, and then they show up, and by the end of the episode, they're basically taken out via. You have, I believe, it's Gab Connor taken out via Rider kick, and then you have Saracen taken out via Rider reversal. Yes, Rider reversal, and then have a third month together Rider kick. Yeah, it's also the first time. Yeah, you can also think of this as the first time episode 13 we have more than one monster in the episode. And also we actually have various kids, including Gobuta, Gabaku, I think his name is, Loki, who appears throughout the series. Yeah, his friend Nomi, she gets kidnapped, and she's a rival of his, and it's implied to be his girlfriend. They're not really going into it much at all. And eventually, after the monster's destroyed, those two are brought back home, and the kids who were with them, not exactly know what happened to them. They could have got home somehow. Maybe they arranged them, not really sure. But in the case of episode 28, we once again have a monster who digs tunnels. Why the heck we use this plot thread for just 2 episodes later, I have no idea. Now in the case of the first one, he creates basically pits, while also creating this mysterious raining sand, which the episode never explained how the heck he was able to accomplish that. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. They just randomly showed up there. In the case of this one, it's like digging around. Also, one thing that you could probably think is an error for this episode, you can easily see whenever the mole monster of this episode, you see his little cut-off hole he goes through. I'm like, why the heck are you showing that for? I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah. And he kidnaps random guys. The reason? Dig tunnels, become mole men. And of course, Kamen Rider was briefly captured. And he has this kind of a face-to-face conversation with Colonelzou. First time it's episode 26. That was via jail cell. And they just chat. And like, I'm gonna basically just have this mechanic kill Taki for reasons because they like the FBI. Yeah, 1 and 2 franchises have an FBI agent involved. They, of course, being case closed. Yep. Though, of course, Taki is saved from being murdered, first via bombs and stabbing. And the monster himself, well, he's pretty much dealt with pretty easily. Yeah, and also they also introduced this thing called this reversal formula, which you can turn a cyborg back to being human, which is the first and probably going to be the only time they ever bring this up. Though they're able to turn the other people back into regular people with no problem. I'm like, Vio's is big, and he's able to have, like, 50 guys turn back normal pretty quickly. Yeah, they never really explained that. It's like, oh yeah, this happened off screen. Mm-hmm. One thing that's got praised by this episode is the fact that Hayato's actually involved a lot more. Because early on, it seems like he doesn't really care to show up very much at all. Because I get this was the start, but now he's in there a lot with Taki and, of course, Tabusa. Yeah, he's basically showing up a lot more, working together really well. Interestingly, the girls don't do much of anything in these few episodes. Not really, no. Let's see, I think one of them does hang out with with Taki in episode 26. But last two, the girls do practically nothing. I think they skipped this. I think they skipped the last couple episodes for reasons that I don't really know why. It's just that's just the way it is for some reason. Yes. I mean, we have this club, and we don't do anything much with the club at all. I mean, the girls who appear throughout the I think it's one of them, anyways. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to pretty much watching all the rest of this stuff here. Still got a little while to go before basically I'm running out of episodes. How many more episodes are you left? You might ask. Well, as of 28th, I have exactly 24 left to go for this entire run, plus a movie. And then, of course, then after that, I'll start Ranger. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to immediately do Overlord and do my review for that, okay? Next video. Bye.